I want to ask you a question that I ask almost every therapist that I talk to when they're thinking about working with me. How long do you spend on the phone with a potential client before they book their first session? Just take a second, think about it. What is your honest answer? Because when I ask that question, most therapists say somewhere between 10 and 15 minutes max. And some of them say it proudly, like efficiency is a virtue, like they've just figured out the system. And I get it. Go look at basically any therapist website right now and you'll see it. Schedule a 15-minute consultation. It's everywhere. It's like the industry default. Here's what I learned after serving thousands of couples and being in private practice for over 2 decades. That default is costing you clients. And most importantly, it's costing you the right clients. So you might want to grab a pen and write a few things down. So where did the 15-minute consult come from? Why does everybody do this? I think it comes from roots in our field. I kind of go back to psychoanalysis and those ideas that the client is somehow in opposition to the therapist, that they're going to deplete you, that you need to guard your energy and your time, because if you give too much of it before they're officially a client, you've given away something for free that you can't get back. That worldview is now baked into us and how we're trained, even if nobody says it out loud. But I want to be direct with you about this. I think it's total nonsense, and it's bad for business. That scarcity mentality that says protect your 15 minutes is the same mentality that makes consult calls feel like an interrogation instead of a conversation. It's the same mentality that makes therapists weird about money. It's the same mentality that keeps practices stuck. So let me tell you where I learned this. I grew up around the restaurant industry. My dad is in it, my family's in it. And one thing that world teaches you fast is that hospitality is not a cost. It's the whole product. A good restaurant doesn't rush you. They don't sit you down, hand you a menu, and start a 15-minute timer. They want you to settle in. They want you to feel taken care of. Because the longer you stay, the more you order, and the more likely you are to come back and bring people with you. I started thinking about my private practice the same way when I was first building it back in 2005. What happens if I just spend more time with people on the phone? What if I just stop treating a consult like a necessary inconvenience and start treating it like the beginning of a professional relationship? Here's what I found. The longer I spent on that call, genuinely getting to know someone, the longer their lifetime value as a client. More of them showed up for the first session. The ones who weren't a good fit for my practice became obvious during the first call so I could refer them out before wasting a session slot. And the ones who did show up were already bought in. They weren't questioning the fee. They weren't on the fence about whether therapy was right for them, and they came in ready to work. That's not a coincidence. That's what happens when you lead with abundance rather than scarcity. So let me tell you why couples therapy is different though. Individual therapy is one thing. Couples is a completely different animal entirely, and this is where it really matters. When a couple calls you, you have 2 buyers, 2 people who have to both say yes. And in my experience, at least one of them has a foot out the door before the call even starts. One partner wanted to make the call more than the other, and the other one just agreed to it, maybe reluctantly, and they're already a little bit skeptical about whether this is going to work, whether it's going to be just another thing that doesn't fix the problem. A 15-minute call does not give you enough time to reach that person. What I teach in my Practice Magnet program is a 45-minute consultation for couples. And I know that sounds like a lot. I know your instinct is probably, I can't give away 45 minutes for free. But I want you to reframe what's actually happening during that call. You're not giving away something for free. You're letting them sample your vibe. You're showing them how you work. And you're giving the skeptical partner enough time to actually hear you, to feel seen, and to start trusting that you may be actually there to help. By the time you get to logistics at the end of the call, they're not deciding whether to start therapy. They're already decided in their head. Now it's just about figuring about when. Think about what they're actually considering. They're trying to save their marriage. That's worth thousands of dollars to them, and they already know that. That decision does not get made in 15 minutes on the phone with somebody that they just found online. It just doesn't anymore. Okay, so grab a pen and let's talk about the practical piece. I'm going to show you something I've learned because I know what some of you are thinking. How do I bring up the fee without it getting weird? How do I get from the conversation to the booking without suddenly feeling like a sales pitch? Here's the sequence I've used for years, and now I teach to everyone I work with. After you've done the real work on the call, after you've listened and built some rapport, and they've gotten a sense of who you are, you transition to logistics. And you do it like this. You say something like, my office is located in whatever location, a recognizable landmark. Do you know where that is? So I used to say, my office is located downtown by the Powell Street BART station. Do you know where that is? So it's really recognizable if you're anywhere in the Bay Area. They say yes. They almost always say yes because you pick something they recognize, right? Then you say, great, the fee per session is blank. And then you keep moving. Don't pause on it. Don't ask if that works for them. Don't make it a decision point. Keep going to this next thing. Sessions are 60 minutes. The first one's 90. I have 2 times available this week. Which is better for you? So the session length doesn't matter there, fill in the blank. I have 2 times available this week, and you give 2 times. Which works better for you? So notice that's a close-ended question, and they're deciding between 2 variables of time, not money. That's key. So that's it. You've stated the fee and then immediately given them something else to think about. Their brain shifts from, should I spend this money, to, do we go in Tuesday or Thursday? The fee becomes one item on a list, not a hurdle to get over. This works because you're not asking them to make a decision about money. You're asking them to make a decision about time, and that's a much easier yes. I've used this with literally thousands of clients over the years. It works, not because it's a trick, but because by that point in a good 45-minute call, they're already wanting to book. You're just making it easier for them to do it. So here's the thing I want you to take from this. The 15-minute consult isn't just a time management choice. It's a signal. It signals to your potential clients and honestly to yourself that your time is more valuable than the relationship you're trying to build with them. And in couples therapy, especially where trust is everything, that signal lands wrong. Abundance mentality is not about giving away everything for free. It's about trusting that the right clients, the ones who are ready to do the work and pay your full fee, will recognize value when they experience it. And the best way to have them actually experience it is to give them enough time to actually feel it. If you want to go deeper on how to structure your consultation process, how to price your offers, how to build a practice that doesn't have you doing math in your head about whether you can afford to take a week off, that's exactly what we work on at Practice Magnet. The link is in the description, and if you have questions about how you're running your own consult calls right now, put them in the comments. I read every one and I'll respond. And as always, if this was useful, please like and subscribe. I put out videos like this regularly for therapists who are serious about building a practice that actually works. I will see you next time. Thanks a lot.